T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hey, welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Welcome to this WrestleMania Eve edition of the SmackDown and Rampage after show. And I'm so glad that you are here with us, even in the midst of so many different wrestling things coming on. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and that's cool. So thank you so much. Of course, my name is Stephanie Hardy, host and creator of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast here in the Hardy Wrestling Podcast studios. And my tag team partner, Driune Santana, is sadly not with me tonight, but she is in Dallas, Texas, enjoying herself at various events that are going on over there because it's WrestleMania weekend. And I wish her the best, and I hope that her and the rest of my Women's Wrestling Talk sisters are having the time of their life this weekend, as The Undertaker is also preparing to go on stage and give his speech for the Hall of Fame because he is the headliner. So, of course, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have already started watching it. But, of course, before that, there was SmackDown, and then there was AEW Rampage. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Now, this show, we're going to talk about SmackDown. So SmackDown started with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And something that they did that I really appreciated once this episode started was the fact that they were able to talk about the history behind Andre the Giant and his historical significance in wrestling as a whole, and how dominant he was when it came to battle royals, and just his legacy, you know, as a wrestler, as the battle royal has grown into this WrestleMania or WrestleMania themed or adjacent event. And so this time, I believe this is the first time the Andre the Giant Battle Royal has not taken place on the WrestleMania card, but they decided to move it to SmackDown tonight. And of course, you see the likes of Finn Balor, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, the NXT champion, R-Truth, Reggie, basically everybody and their mama who's on the mid card in WWE from Raw and SmackDown were in this Battle Royal. And it was pretty lit. Like, it was absolutely lit. Like, it went faster than I expected it to go, but it was still relatively lit. You had everybody sort of clustering together to fight each other all at once. You had Akira Tozawa getting eliminated first, but then Reggie sort of bragging about how smart you have to be, but then he got eliminated by Damian Priest. And Damian Priest was just, you know, on the warpath, and he was just eliminating everybody. This is him eliminating Reggie right here. And he was really the outside of Commander Aziz and maybe the Viking Raiders, Damian Priest was the biggest person in the ring, and I guess maybe the odds-on favorite to possibly win this battle royal if it came down to it. There were lots of eliminations that happened, and even surprisingly, Tommaso Ciampa, who has a huge match on tomorrow for NXT Stand and Deliver, his last NXT match tomorrow against Tony D'Angelo, he participated in the Battle Royal, because as you can see, this is him on the screen. laying it on the line to Dolph Ziggler. But he also got eliminated because Bobby Roode was basically being Dolph Ziggler's X factor in that match. But surprisingly, and like surprising, the winner wasn't even Finn Balor or Dolph Ziggler or Bobby Roode. It turned out to be Madcap Moss. He wound up eliminating both Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, I believe, in order to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And of course, he's in this picture celebrating and kissing it. And he was talking about how much he admired Andre the Giant and how, it was his honor to win it, considering um basically his mentor Happy Corbin was did go on to win the battle royal in 2016 in his WWE debut. So he's really happy to win this. So congratulations to Madcap Moss. Even though you are irritating, we're gonna still give you your love and your just due because you are the winner. A winner is you. So yes, but we're gonna get into Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss a little bit later on in the show as we discuss SmackDown. So that was cool. Then after that match, we had the Intercontinental Championship match, which I really felt like should have been on the WrestleMania card. But that's neither here nor there at this point. Between Ricochet, the IC champion, and Los Lotharios, both members of Los Lotharios. That's Angel and Humberto, the two cousins. And this match was amazing. I know last week I was talking about how much I felt like this match was really gonna, steal the show simply because of the fact that all of these men are so talented with their high flying moves and their death defying stunts, and they did not disappoint. This match was freaking fire. Like, there were just so many amazing moments that happened. But first of all, Los Lotharios actually gave a kiss to a lucky girl on their kiss cam, and that lucky girl was none other than accomplished wrestler in her own right, Ashley Dubois. I recognized her face immediately. I was just like, oh my God, there's Ashley Dubois. Because of course they have been, kissing lots of women on the kiss cam who are wrestlers or who are familiar in the independents in various cities in which they are. And everybody and their mama is in Texas, unless you haven't been on social media. So I'm really glad that they got her to be a part of it. And congratulations to Ashley Dubois for making her, I guess you could say, WWE debut as the girl who got kissed this week. And to quote Driune Santana, my tag team partner, it should have been her, Lord. But oh gosh, I miss her. But like I was saying, this match was really, really good. It was so cool. We got somebody in the chat. Wilson, hey, thank you for joining me. I like Ashley on AEW Dark. Yes, she has been on AEW Dark numerous times. So yeah, nice job shouting her out there. We are really happy to see her. But this match was really good because, as you can see, Los Lotharios were basically utilizing their tag team prowess to try to take advantage and beat up on Ricochet a whole lot more. But it basically became lost in translation as they both, tried to hit their best offenses on Ricochet. But they were both, of course, going into business for themselves, as every man for themselves in a triple threat match. And this isn't like a tag team match, so it's not like they can both be co-intercontinental champions. Only one of them could. And they both got to fighting and really couldn't agree on anything. And Ricochet utilized that to his advantage and used his 450 or 630 splash, forgive me, I always mess up the numbers, into another move, which was like a one knee DDT. And he covered one of them for the win. So Ricochet retained his Intercontinental title, much to the celebration of everybody in the much to the celebration of everybody in the crowd in Dallas, Texas. They were really happy for him. And that was a beautiful moment for him because even though he may not get WrestleMania to shine, he will get this SmackDown WrestleMania to shine. So congratulations and big ups to Ricochet for retaining his Intercontinental title. Then, of course, in between this match, you had a package showing, basically detailing the story of what's going to go on with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is set to make an appearance on the Kevin Owens show, I believe tomorrow, WrestleMania Saturday. And they showed this whole package and everything, and it showed a lot of beautiful moments where, of course, Kevin Owens was making fun of Stone Cold Steve Austin with his ball cap and his cosplay and everything. And then he also proceeded to talk trash at him and everything. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin, of course, responded with his beautiful video out in the desert and talked about, if they do fight at WrestleMania tomorrow, it'll be his first match in 19 years. Because, of course, if you remember WrestleMania 19, which you can watch, go back and watch, his last match was against The Rock. And if you are a big wrestling fanatic or a wrestling nerd, you know that there was a lot that went into this match in terms of Stone Cold Steve, on the part of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was going through a lot in terms of injuries and a lot of different things personally, but he still went through and participated in this stellar match between him and The Rock, and it was really good. This is one of my favorite WrestleMania moments here, and I just had to share it on here. But they did show footage from that, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah. KO and Stone Cold Steve Austin are probably going to tear up Texas tomorrow, and I'm really really excited for it. It's going to be cool. So yes, Wilson talking about Ricochet and the 630 splash, and they made him slow motion it. Yes, it's beautiful. I've actually seen it in person. It is a beautiful move to be executed. So after that Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin footage, we got some women's action, which is something that I absolutely love. You had a tag team match between Team Boss Glow. Sasha Banks and Naomi took on Queen Zelina and Carmella, the women's tag team champions. And this match was pretty good. As you can see, this is a picture of Naomi jumping in the air and hitting a double drop kick on Carmella and Queen Zelina here. And of course, Sasha Banks came out dressed in one of her amazing outfits designed by her husband Makazi, where she's cosplaying Sailor Moon, which was the outfit that she wore at the Royal Rumble. And it's so funny because it went viral on Twitter today, and she wound up wearing it tonight, which I really love. And then I had someone else say, I believe it was Janelle from the HR from Jobber Tears, who was in the audience. Shout out to her. She said that she really hopes that Sasha and Naomi have matching gear on tomorrow. And I, for one, would love to see that. But even though Queen Zelina and Carmella wound up losing the match, and as they lost the match and as Naomi and Sasha were celebrating their win, you had Shayna Baszler and Natalya and the other team of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley watching the match from outside of the ring on the ring apron, and they didn't necessarily interfere, but they were just watching them because of course this weekend they have the fatal 4-way match for the women's tag team titles. Now, a lot of people in wrestling do say that if you win the match on the night before in the go home show before a pay-per-view, then chances are you aren't going to win. But I am not choosing to believe that. I really believe that Team Boss Glow is going to come out with the win and become the new women's tag team champions and break Sasha Banks's WrestleMania drought. But tell me who you think is going to win that match, that fatal 4-way match for the women's tag team titles in the chat. Please let me know. But this match was relatively stellar. And I can't wait to see these women throw down this weekend. Also with the women, you had a promo and an interview by Kayla Braxton interviewing Ronda Rousey as she trained with Shayna Baszler for her SmackDown Women's title match against Charlotte Flair this weekend. And Kayla was asking her, if she was a little bit shaken up because of everything that Charlotte has been saying to her over the past couple of weeks, and how they've had their war of words, and it seems that Charlotte has basically one upped her in the war of words category. And then you also have and then it's like Ronda basically told Kayla that she's not scared of her in the least bit, and I really appreciated that. So Ronda's ready. She's ready. She's been training in the ring, and even though she did kind of allude to the fact that Charlotte has been sort of down talking her in the way that she speaks, and all of the things that people have been saying online about her promo skills, she seems ready and primed for this match. But then Charlotte also came out and responded and basically said that she knows that she's going to win at WrestleMania simply because WrestleMania is like where she shines the brightest. And that is relatively true because they did show a package of Charlotte winning coming into the last WrestleMania in Dallas in 2016 as the last ever Divas champion and winning the Raw Women's Championship for the very first time in that historic triple threat against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. And so it's just that she thrives in these situations. So she is overconfident in her abilities at WrestleMania. And she's going to go, and in her mind, she is ready to win and retain her title. So, yeah, Charlotte is just being Charlotte here. So, yeah, here we go. And then as we went on in the show, surprisingly, we didn't see or really hear that much from Sami Zayn tonight, even though he has a match going up against Johnny Knoxville, even though it's an anything goes match, but we really didn't see that much from them. And I believe during the night they also showed a package of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and their rivalry as it has progressed and intensified over the past couple of weeks. So yeah, that's of course going to be the main event of WrestleMania Sunday. And of course they're fighting for it's a winner takes all universal title, WWE title, everything's on the line. I'm surprised Paul Heyman isn't on the line at this point, but they're going to be fighting each other for their titles. And yeah, it's going to be pretty lit in terms of that. So they showed that entire package. And of course, if you've been watching SmackDown over the past couple of months, you know how it progressed. So I won't really get into all of it here. But all I'm saying is that I feel like Roman Reigns is going to win. He's the tribal chief. I feel like he's going to be the double champion and he is going to be the ruler of us all. But of course, if Santana was here, she would say, no, he's not. He's not going to win because he keeps running from Roman and all this other stuff. So it's whatever, but I still feel like it's still going to be a good match. Chad in the chat just going off talking about how he hopes Charlotte Flair does win, but he doesn't mind Ronda winning. If Becky wins also, then it's Becky versus Ronda. I don't necessarily agree with that, Chad, but I do respect your opinion. I'm hoping and predicting that Bianca Belair will win the Raw Women's Championship and Ronda will win the SmackDown Women's Championship. So that's just my personal opinion on that. But your opinion, is valid here on Women's Wrestling Talk, and I appreciate you participating in the chat with me tonight. Because then we had another match, which sort of divulged into something else, between Rick Boots and Jimmy Uso. They were fighting each other, and as Rick Boots made his entrance with the guitar and everything, and as Pat McAfee was dancing on top of the commentary table as he does, he was interrupted by none other than Austin Theory coming out to ruin everything and everybody's happiness. Oh my God. But either way, um you saw him ruining everybody's happiness, and he came out and tripped Pat McAfee up on the table, and the table did not break. And he fell, and Pat McAfee decided to want to chase him all the way backstage, and Austin Theory basically found refuge in Vince McMahon's office. And even though Pat McAfee was going to walk away initially, he walked right back to the office and kicked the door down. But then after he kicked the door down, Vince McMahon came out there and faced him and said, "Bro, what the heck are you doing?" But of course he didn't say heck. But yeah, he was like, "What the heck are you doing? Like, you can't just knock my door down. Who do you think you are? You need to go back out there and do your job, or else you won't have a job," which I thought was horrible. Because I'm just like, bro, like, why are you bossing him around like that? Like, that was just so rude. And it was so stupid because Austin Theory was hiding behind Vince McMahon like a spoiled child would behind their dad if they wanted their dad to defend them, as even though they've known they've done something wrong. It was so devious and so evil. And I cannot wait for Pat McAfee to get his hands on him this weekend. But Pat went back to the commentary table as Michael Cole tried to hold down the fort. Amazing Tribe, thank you for joining me. I'm doing okay. So basically, he went back to the commentary desk, and as the match progressed, you had, of course, Rick Boogs hitting all kinds of impressive moves, putting Jimmy Uso in a press while he was on his knees, and then lifting him up and tossing him over his shoulders with a suplex. Like, Rick Boogs just impresses us each and every week with his power moves, and I'm so like excited for him and his future. But then, of course, Austin Theory came back out and started more mess with Pat McAfee. But then Finn Balor, his rival on Monday Night Raw, came back out and proceeded to beat his behind on behalf of Pat, and Pat was rooting him on. So they went to commercial, then they came back from commercial, and it was a 6-man tag between Jimmy Uso, Jay Uso, and Austin Theory versus Finn Balor, Shinsuke, and Rick Boogs. So this match took place, and it was still really good and really high powered. But as you can tell, thank you. Thank you, Amazing Tribe. You're enjoying my storytelling. Thanks. So this match took place, and it was a really good 6-man tag here. And you can really tell that Austin Theory was really trying to get in Pat McAfee's head and show exactly what he wanted to do to Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. But Pat wasn't having it. He was talking smack at him while he was sitting at the table. And even as Austin Theory, pinned I believe either Rick Boogs or Shinsuke for the win, he was staring right at Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee was getting ready to get up and get in his face. But then Michael Cole walked up to him and, tried to tell him, Pat, no, like, get down, like, please don't do this and mess up, your job and stuff. And he got down, because, Michael was telling him, yo, like, don't do this. And it was so nice. Like, that was a very nice gesture to see. And something that a lot of people really aren't, I feel like maybe a lot of people aren't really discussing as much, because Pat McAfee shines so brightly on his own, is the fact that him and Michael Cole have such a good relationship, and they love and I can tell they really love each other, and they have a great amount of respect for each other. And I really feel like it would only take someone like Michael Cole to calm Pat McAfee down, because Pat McAfee is like on 10 all the time. So it can only take someone like Michael Cole, who has been in these types of situations, like, I almost want to say all his life, but like over 20 years. It would only take somebody like him to know how to really calm him down and bring him down to that level. They really are amazing together, and their friendship is something that I have enjoyed seeing blossom, because at first I was thinking maybe Michael Cole was on the team of Vince McMahon and Austin Theory, but when that happened tonight, you could really tell that he's really on Pat's team. And it was nice to see that type of brotherhood. Like, I don't know, I'm just really mushy, and I just like to see men, hold each other down in a way that makes sense and in a healthy way. So I really appreciated that part. I'm pretty sure, y'all didn't expect it to go that way, but it's okay. Um, but moving on from that, they talked more about all the other matches that are set to take place this weekend. And after that, of course, they talked about the Hall of Fame, which I'm sure a lot of people are watching right now, if not rewatching or something like that. And congratulations to all of the inductees. That's Queen Sharmell, Vader, and The Undertaker, and the Steiner brothers. And also congratulations to Shad Gaspard, who is the recipient of the Warrior Award for the heroic act of saving his son. Congratulations to all of those people, and to the people who are no longer with us. May you continue to rest in perfect peace, and we'll see you on the other side. So I just wanted to say that part. But something that did happen on SmackDown toward at the very end of the show was Happy Corbin's show called Happy Talk. And he had of course Madcap Moss as a guest. And he was, trying to, and Madcap Moss, as you could tell, was really excited because, of course, earlier in the show, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But it seemed as if Happy Corbin was just trying to undermine his accomplishment to sort of talk about the fact that he stole Drew McIntyre's sword named Angela after his late mom. And he kept trying to, it just felt very, one-sided. It's kind of like when you talk to someone who you think is your friend, but that friend is always talking down on you, but then they give you a backhanded compliment. That's kind of what it felt like. And it was really sad to sort of see that. But over the past couple of weeks, you can kind of see that Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin's relationship has been kind of tearing little by little. So I can imagine it'll probably only be a matter of time, maybe even this weekend, if they break up or something like that. But Happy Corbin kept bragging about how he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal in his debut at WrestleMania, and how he's basically, and how his win, sort of, was better than Madcap Moss's win. And he kept bragging about how he stole the sword from Drew McIntyre and how it's named after his mom who passed away. And he was basically saying that he feels like the sword should be named something else, and he decided to rename it Euphoria. And I think that's funny because I'm wondering if Happy Corbin watches the show Euphoria on HBO, because I actually finished watching both seasons of Euphoria. It's a great show, but I'm wondering if that's really, where he was going with it. I'm pretty sure it's not, but it's just that when I think of Euphoria, I just think about the show. And he was talking about, how he's going to feel euphoric once he beats Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. And he was talking about how depressing it is that he named the sword after his late mom. And then he made a very tasteless joke about Drew McIntyre and his mom. He made the joke of saying, what does Drew and the sword have in common? Or at least, what does the sword and Drew's mom have in common? And then Madcap Moss said, what? And then Happy Corbin said, Drew both lost them. And that was horrible. That was really horrible, because if it's one thing you don't do, um yeah, it is. If it's one thing you don't do, is talk about somebody and their mama, or definitely just don't talk about their mama, especially if their mama has passed away. You just don't do that. And it felt like maybe they were trying to recreate a horrible joke just to sort of fit into the current events of what's going on or what happened at the Oscars this past Sunday, which I'm pretty sure you would know about if you were online, throughout the week. I really feel like that was what they were trying to do. And of course, Drew McIntyre wasn't having it. He stormed right out there and proceeded to beat Madcap Moss's behind and run right after Happy Corbin. But then Corbin ran away and he wound up getting his sword back. But as you can tell, Drew McIntyre was feeling very angry, very shook, and very enraged at the idea of somebody making a joke like that on national television about his mom and about the sword named after his mom. Like, losing your mother is not something that you would wish on anybody. And so for him to make a joke about that, it was just, it was very tasteless. And I really believe Drew is definitely going to give him a major punch in the face and probably cut him with the sword this weekend at WrestleMania. And that's really how SmackDown ended. But yeah, it's just that I hate that it ended that way, but that's just what happened. So of course, that's the end of SmackDown. I don't have any pictures for that section, but basically that's how SmackDown ended. It was a pretty solid go home show for WrestleMania. So of course after that they went into their Hall of Fame pre-show, and then of course the Hall of Fame ceremony, which I'm pretty sure is either going on or over by now. I don't know. But we're gonna move on to AEW Rampage, and this show started and came in hot with this tag team match, which was the Young Bucks, who are also, I believe, the EVPs of AEW, versus Top Flight. That's Darius and Dante Martin. I just found out that they're brothers tonight, and I've heard all kinds of good things about Top Flight, and they really impressed me tonight. Like they really did. Like I was so thrilled with watching them participate in this matchup tonight. Like them versus the Young Bucks, it was almost like they were truly evenly matched with each other. And but the thing is, the thing where I say that the Young Bucks and Top Flight differ is the fact that Top Flight is more precisioned with their high flying moves and their kicks and stuff. Whereas the Young Bucks, of course, they're more veterans, so it's like they've been doing it a lot longer. So where they're a little bit sluggish, it's like Top Flight is like whoosh. Like it was just so cool watching them fight each other. Like this match was something that I really enjoyed, and I wouldn't mind seeing them fight again. I was very disappointed when Top Flight wound up losing that match to the Young Bucks. But the Young Bucks later on in the night talked about how they want to fight FTR for the AAA tag team titles next week, next Wednesday. So basically they won this match, which gave them sort of like air, basically like air in their sails, wind in their sails for that match. But that match was really good. Like if you haven't checked it out, please do. Like Top Flight really does deserve all the things. I want to see them become AEW tag team champions because their work is just amazing. Oh, we got another chat. Amazing Tribe says Top Flight, aka Airwolf and Airhawk versus Young Bucks. Top Flight, the NXT AEW tag team champions for show. Definitely. Like if they decided to go to NXT, that would be cool too. But since they're in AEW, I really want to see them go for those AEW tag team titles because they are good. They really impressed me. I really enjoyed that. And then of course after that you had a promo from Chris Statlander, who of course has been in this ongoing feud with legit Layla Hirsch. And of course she has a new attitude now. She has new clothes and everything. And she really didn't say much in her promo. She just said, "This is the new Chris Statlander," with like black paint over her eye. And that's really all that she said. So it was just like that was really quick and to the point. But hey, sometimes that's all you need. So I'm not questioning that, and I actually like her new attitude. So it's cool. Then after that, we had this trios match, which was the House of Black versus Fuego del Sol, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order. This match was pretty good in a sense because of course, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, they were a really they had a really good tag, they're a really good tag team out of the Dark Order. And Fuego del Sol is of course, kind of like the unlucky dude that's in that team, but they still, carry him around and everything. But the House of Black, of course, they were just turning into all kinds of bowling balls and hitting all kinds of kicks and everything on the other trios teams. And of course, House of Black wound up winning, even though it looked like for a second Fuego del Sol had a little bit of an advantage in that match. So House of Black wound up winning it due to Malachi Black hitting a kick on Fuego del Sol, and he lost. So yeah, that's pretty much how that went. Then afterward, we had the Owen Hart Foundation women's tournament qualifier between Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue. I was really happy to see Sky Blue with this opportunity simply because of the fact that I actually saw her wrestle for the first time in NWA last year during NWA Empower weekend, and I was really impressed with her. And I feel like the sky's the limit with her. No pun intended. I really did not try to do that. The sky's the limit for her. And then you have Miss Jamie Hayter, who is on team Britt Baker, but Britt Baker was not out there with her. It was Rebel who was out there with her because Britt Baker is apparently boycotting AEW until they get to Britsburg later on in the month of April. This match was pretty good. I wish it were longer. But I mean, I don't really control these things. But when it comes to women's matches, sometimes I do wish either they were longer or they had more than one on an AEW card. But this is just a 1 hour show. So I will kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. But this match was pretty good here. But ultimately, Jamie Hayter wound up winning. So now she's going forward in the tournament along with the new debuting Tony Storm, who won her match this past Wednesday to qualify for the Owen Hart Women's Qualifier tournament. So basically, whoever goes on to win this tournament, I believe, will go on to face the TBS champion Jade Cargill, because no one else really, is in line to face her. So I imagine that that is what the tournament is for. So yeah, it's just, that's basically what's going on with that. And it was a pretty good match, but I just really wish it were longer. Chad says Jamie Hayter is his favorite besides Hikaru Shida. Yeah, Shida is great. Like, I like Shida. She's cool. Amazing Tribe says I'm a natural lyricist. Oh man, thanks. I really don't be trying to do that. Like, I don't be trying to make puns or rhyme. It just happens sometimes. Oh God, I did it again. Okay. So then we had a promo for Powerhouse Hobbs and Keith Lee. And of course, they were main eventing the night. And this was a match that a lot of people were excited about because these are two powerhouse men here fighting each other. And of course, they were talking smack at each other, but I didn't really get to hear everything that they said because I was in the midst of getting some dinner because I was hungry. Um, so this happened, and then their promo happened. And I do know that Keith Lee did use the word indubitably correctly in a sentence, which sort of feeds into the Keith Lee seems like the kind of guy tweets that were going viral a few weeks ago. So I thought that was nice. But of course, it was time for the main event. So yeah, they went on to fight each other. And these two powerhouse men, no pun intended, really locked up, and you could tell that it was about to go down. And I loved Powerhouse Hobbs's gear. If you noticed it while watching Rampage, it was very Harlem Heat vibes from his outfit, because he has been public in saying that Booker T was kind of instrumental in getting his career started. So his gear really was giving off Harlem Heat. And of course, Keith Lee was out there and he was about the business. And this match was really good. You had all of the punches. There was one point where Powerhouse Hobbs even lifted Keith Lee and flipped him over for, like, that was really cool. And I did not know that Powerhouse Hobbs could lift that much weight, but he really showed that, and I thought that was really cool. And then of course Keith Lee hit him in the chest with his hands, like pow, and that was really cool too. But what disappointed me was the ending of the match. And that was when Ricky Starks decided to get up from the commentary desk and interfere with the chair and hit Keith Lee in the back, or at least was trying to hit Keith Lee in the back. And Keith Lee smacked the chair out of the way as he stood on the apron in shock. And he was just like, oh my God, no way. And they started beating up on him. But then Swerve Strickland came out for the assist and proceeded to beat up on Ricky Starks some more. And then Powerhouse Hobbs tried to take advantage of it. But the referee was trying to break up Swerve and Ricky Starks from fighting each other. So that was something that just wasn't working out. And then Powerhouse Hobbs got frustrated. So he yanked the referee back in the ring and said, Luke, dude, you need to count. And so before he was able to count it, Keith Lee kicked out, and then he hit a spirit bomb for the win. He won that match, but then the attacks kept coming. Ricky Starks kept attacking Swerve, and then they were all just fighting each other. And basically, that's just kind of how AEW Rampage ended. I was really disappointed with this, but I do want to see, those two fight each other again, because I mean, it's not that often you see really big heavyweights like that fighting each other, and I was really pumped for it. So I'm hoping somewhere down the line they'll face off against each other again. Amazing Tribe said this match was amazingly pay-per-view worthy. Yes, if it without any interruptions, but it's whatever. And then he also said that Powerhouse Hobbs and Keith Lee are destined to be AEW heavyweight champions. From your lips to God's ears. Because I am seriously hoping for more African American men in the AEW heavyweight championship picture. That's something I am hoping for and manifesting. So hopefully that will happen this year. Whether it be in the summer or just as soon as possible. Make it happen, AEW. You have the beef. You have these big meaty men slapping meat. You have them. Use them. Put them in the heavyweight title picture, please. But that's really all that happened on Rampage. And that's all that happened on SmackDown and of course the Hall of Fame. So thank you guys for joining me. I know there's a lot going on, especially if you're in Dallas or if you're just elsewhere in the world, watching other wrestling shows, because I know Impact had their multiverse of matches take place, I believe, tonight. And I also believe, Ring of Honor had their stuff too. There's a lot of stuff going on, but ultimately WrestleMania will be taking place this weekend. It's the showcase of the Immortals, the granddaddy of them all, the Super Bowl of wrestling, basically a celebration of wrestling that we just enjoy. Yes, Chad, maybe Keith will eventually be Adam Cole for the World Championship. Definitely. And do a replay of their NXT rivalry, because that was lit. That was so lit. Thank you, Chad, for that. Slapgate. All the food. Oh my gosh. Amazing Tribe is eating. All the big meaty men. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's all that took place tonight. So of course tomorrow is of course at 12 noon or 1 Eastern, depending on where you are. There's NXT Stand and Deliver, and then later on, of course, there's WrestleMania, and then there's WrestleMania on Sunday as well. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to check that out and really just celebrate all there is to love about wrestling. And just enjoy yourself. So thank you guys for watching this after show with me. Hopefully next week it'll be me and my tag team partner Driune Santana together. Please follow her on all of her social media at Driune or Driune Santana. Just Google her, as she says, and you'll find her name. That's capital Driune. Please look for her and follow her wherever you can. And of course, you can follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy. And you can follow my podcast, The Hardy Wrestling Podcast, on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this show. And please know that if you want more women's wrestling talk content, visit our website. That's www.talkpod.com. Check out all of our articles, all of our videos, just so much amazing content, all of our merchandise. You can go to the website and buy it there. And also subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and on Twitch and everywhere you find us. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WWTalkPod, and just catch the vibe, because we really are working out here. And there's going to be more stuff that we're going to put out for WrestleMania weekend, as a lot of my women's wrestling talk sisters are out there in Dallas, Texas. So please get into it this weekend if you have the chance, or of course a little bit later. So thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And until next time, bye y'all.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.